as long as required. The Department of Health to ensure
Inanam an Teach the Holly Cairns to discuss the pressing need for a bus service for young adults with disabilities in Beara, County Cork.
Thank you, Lascairn Corlin. Minister, there are a group of young adults in Beara and West Cork who need a bus to access training and day services in Bantry, which is over an hour's drive for some of them. These are incredibly important facilities that not only offer education, but also give them social, emotional and employment opportunities. This issue initially rose during the summer when the need became apparent. However, it became clear that the local link in the area didn't have the resources to provide this service. Two groups very generously recognised the need and enabled a temporary solution, that's St Vincent de Paul and the Beara West Family Resource Centre. They stepped in where the state had failed, and the young people themselves are making weekly contributions from their disability allowance. Besides the fact that this shouldn't come to local civil society organisations paying, it is a temporary fix and only in place until Christmas. Now the young people, their families and colleagues are deeply worried about what will happen in the new year, which is only weeks away. In the words of the people themselves who are using the service, we are now at crisis point. It's clear that funding must be provided by government. In a letter I received from one of the young people, she explained that the uncertainty associated with my future is causing me and my family great stress, anxiety and sadness. We're overwhelmed and unsure of where to go next. And at the end of the letter, she stressed that I am very concerned about what will happen in January. I do not know how I'll be able to continue in education without support. Their case highlights the need for an integrated approach to disability. It's not only about the services, it's about being able to access them. This problem is even more pronounced in rural Ireland, as you'll be aware, Minister. Bantry has incredible facilities with the National Learning Network, rehab care and coaction, offering a fantastic range of training courses and day services, but people have to travel a considerable distance to get to them, especially people living on the Beara and Sheepshead peninsulas. In this case, the local community and organisations have gone above and beyond. While this is so welcome, it is a public service that should be provided by the state. Especially jarring is that these young people who are living on fixed incomes through disability and related payments have to pay towards the bus themselves. People in similar situations in larger towns and city could avail of public transport, so this now becomes a matter of inequality. The existing public transport routes do not offer the buses at suitable times every weekday, meaning that a bespoke service is the only option. These young people have a right to access education and support, which includes transport. We've examined these issues at great length at the Disability Matters Committee, and in fact when the National Learning Network from Bantry appeared at the committee, the importance of transport arose. They highlighted how they have to regularly fight for transport and work with public bodies and private companies to come up with solutions. There's no good in having a service if people can't access it. It's about joined up thinking. Cork Local Link have been working with the stakeholders and public representatives in trying to solve this, but ultimately it comes down to resources. There needs to be funding for this service, Minister. I'm asking you, would you personally look into this, please?
I want to thank the Deputy for raising the important matter here this morning. And I'm told by the HSE there are a number of young persons with a disability that attend both the RT programme and the day services in the Beara area. There is arrangement in place for a number of years between rehab care and the local link for these services users living in the area to be collected in the morning, brought to their service and brought home in the evening. This is because the geographic location is rural and there was no existing transport service in place via the NTA at the time. Unfortunately, the HSE has said they are not aware of any difficulties with this existing transport arrangement for these service users accessing rehab care services. As a result, officials in the Department of Health made contact with the Department of Transport on the issue. In an update provided by the NTA Rural Transport Programme, the TFI Local Link Office in Cork confirmed that the service in question is long-standing one and is a HSE co-funded service. However, the TFI Local Link Cork said they are not aware of any issues with this service. For example, no passengers are being left behind. They confirmed that nothing has changed recently and no changes are being proposed to the service by the TFI Local Link. I know, however, from local media reports and the fact that the Deputy is raising the matter here this morning, that there clearly is some form of issue, which I hope we can address in some way here. It's important for me to note that it's disappointing for me to stand up here with you this morning and tell the House that different agencies are seemingly oblivious to the potential issue when quick Google shows Beara West Family Resource Centre have flagged the issues with Local Link in Bantry, while Perdens has also approached Local Link in the area. There has clearly been a breakdown in communication somewhere along the line, which hopefully we can resolve. I am grateful for additional information set out with the Deputy this morning. And to be honest with you, my script has changed 4 times in the last 24 hours. And because we've been trying to get their input from the various agencies. So we sorted it this morning on Google, because we just had to go on to Google to see actually what is happening in Beara. So I will be taking this up, because I don't think people realise in their various offices the impact by young people with additional needs trying to get to their day services or to try to get to their rehabilitative training, the importance about this training, that this is their next step to paid employment. And if we don't have the links in place, how can we expect to support families or young people with additional needs? The whole idea of the school leaver programme here is to ensure that we scaffold people to know exactly where the services are, how they can get there and how they can be dependent on, as opposed to having offices telling me yesterday and today they're not aware of any issues.
Minister, thank you so much for your response and engagement with this issue. And you mentioned that Beara West have approached the Local Link, and I can assure you as well that I've met with the Local Link on this issue as well, and they were doing everything they could to try and find additional funding support, because at the moment they just simply don't have the funds to provide an additional service. They already run free services that they fundraise for and different things for addiction services in West Cork. The Local Link are doing their level best, I can assure you of that, but they just need more funding to be able to provide this service. And the young people concerned currently have a temporary service, so it's a matter of saving it and its positive impact. And in essence, the solution is ready and it's in place, it just needs the government funding. And I have to pay tribute as well to the young people and their families who've campaigned tirelessly on this issue. Also, the local community St Vincent de Paul and to Beara West Family Resource Centre should all be acknowledged. The rural community has shown what is possible, and now it's time for the government to support them. The integration of services is crucial, Minister. We have some of the highest rates, like you mentioned, of unemployment among disabled people in the EU and high levels of social exclusion and poverty as well. We need to be doing everything we can to support dynamic young people like this. Some of them attend the National Learning Network in Bantry, who have an incredible success rate. Last year, 92% of the students progressed to either part-time or full-time employment and further education and training. That's an incredible figure. Rivalling the universities in Cork, enabling their access to this facility is not only about their rights, but it's potentially life-changing. This situation also underlines the need for improved public transport more generally on the Beara Peninsula. So, Minister, I don't know if you know, but the Connection Ireland plan would see Castletown Beara being classified as a local route rather than a regional one. So that downgrades the entire connectivity of the Beara Peninsula, whereas we all know there isn't the public services where you could stay there and access them. This case is clear evidence for that to change. With dependable daily transport, these young people and others could access training, employment, day services, social outlets, all of those things. As the new year approaches, we need a solution for this matter. And given the emotion surrounding it, the earlier clarity that could be provided, the better. And thank you again, Minister, for your response.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Deputy, for raising this important issue here again today. And I would just ask you to bear with me as to while we get to the bottom of it. Like, it's very clear from Google that the Family Resource Centre raised in excess of €10,000 to keep the bus on the road. So what I will do is talk to the Minister for Transport over the coming days, engage with the NTA, but also it's also important to realise that within disability services, I pay out over €54 million a year to support transport. So there surely is a way where the Department of Transport and the Department of Health can work together to ensure that where we have more local areas, that we can ensure everybody gets on the bus that can attend services. And as you say yourself, paid employment, that education piece from transitional school leaving into the National Learning Network, into the rehabilitative training programmes, into paid employment. These are the opportunities of we talking about, and they shouldn't be just opportunities. They should be actually a right for everybody, regardless of your geographic location, to be able to attend. So thank you, Lasca Hirlich, and I will come back to the Deputy.